In this video, we are going to learn how to multiply decimals. When multiplying decimals, there's 3 basic steps. So the first thing we're going to do is multiply regularly, as if there's no decimals, that they're just like bigger whole numbers. So we're going to multiply regularly, okay? Then we are going to count the amount of decimal places in both numbers. Or as many numbers as we're multiplying. Or yeah, both numbers. And then we're gonna move the decimal in our answer that many times. So basically whatever number we counted, okay? Some keywords for multiplication. One of the fanciest word for multiplication would be product. But you might also see the word times, or you might see even just like multiplied or the word multiply. And some symbols to show multiplication. A couple different ways we could see multiplication. One way is like the tiny little x, so like 2 or 3 times 2, like that. You may also see it as a dot, so 3 times 2. And you also may see it as parentheses, so either just one thing in parentheses like that, 3 times 2. And you also may see it as 3 times 2. So I actually will use all of them interchangeably, just depending on what I'm doing. But you can use any one, and you'll see here that there's a bunch of different questions. Okay. So let's first do number 2. We have 1.5 times 0.5. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is multiply regularly. So I have 5 times 5, which is 25. Carrying my 2. 5 times 1, which is 5, plus 2, which is 7. Okay. And then in my second row, I have to put my placeholder. I like to make my placeholder an X, even though it means 0. I like to make it an X. So I can tell the difference between a 0 and a placeholder. So 0 times 5 is 0. 0 times 1 is 0. And I could see I still put my placeholder, so that kind of is kept track in my head. So this is 5, 7, and 0. Okay? Now we need to count how many decimal places we have. We have 1 decimal place here, and we have 1 decimal place here. So we have 1 here, 1 here. So we have 2 total decimal places to move. So we have to go 1, 2, and that's where our decimal will go. So our final answer is 0.75. Right here. Okay? And let's do one more. Let's do 6. Oh, let's do the word problem, actually. We have a eucalyptus tree grows 5.45 meters in 1 year. At that rate, how much does a tree grow in 3.5 years? So our keyword in here is, the keyword was in the second one. So what we need to do is, if this is for 1 year, we need to know how much for 3.5 years. So we're going to multiply them together. So we have 5.45 times 3.5. Okay. So we have 5 times 5. I'm going to change my color. 5 times 5, which is 25. We have 4 times 5, which is 20, plus 2, which is 22. And then we have 5 times 5, which is 25, plus 2, which is 27. Okay. Now we have to multiply the 3 by everything on top. So I'm going to put my placeholder here. I have 3 times 5, which is 15. 3 times 4, which is 12, plus 1, which is, and we could cross out these ones from before. 12 plus 1, which is 13. And then 3 times 5, which is 15, plus 1, which is 16. And we're going to add them up. So we have 5, 7, 10, 9 and 1. Okay. Now we have to count our decimals, which is 1, 2 on top. We have 1 here, so we have to move it a total of 3 times. 1, 2, 3, which is 19.075. Okay. Now, if we were to have estimated, let's see if our answer is reasonable, because sometimes that works best with the word problems, the reasonability, because it should make more sense in our mind, like why we're getting to an answer. And is this answer reasonable? So if we were estimating, we would estimate, okay, a eucalyptus tree grows about 5 meters in about 4 years. So this one would round to 4. So 5 times 4, which is 20. And 20 is very close to 19.075. So yes, our answer is pretty reasonable.